As we travel around the world and see what's going on, and as we look at what's going on in the United States, we can see a real transition period going on. There's a social conflict in our country, very different social values. One is a social content that's more tolerant, more progressive, that is more inclusive. Another is a social class that's more rigid, it's more judgmental, and it's less progressive. But at the same time, you have to appreciate the vast changes that are going on. The new development in natural gas could be a wonderful boom for the U.S. economy, already is. But on the other hand, we realize that our crude oil petroleum reserves, our refinery reserves are diminishing. So therefore, as we see, it's an interesting time. But this we do know. As much as I admire the oil industry, their type A ways of making things happen, the dynamic ways they can change landscapes and actually bring in wealth and progress for a country, that is going down. And so eventually we will see things like solar and wind on every commercial mall and building and industrial complex all over the world. But you have to look at these things right now. Average price of energy a few years ago in the United States was something like 7 cents per kilowatt. Today, it's closer to about 12 to 15 cents per kilowatt. You look at some areas, such as parts of northern New Mexico, they're charging 20 cents per kilowatt. You look at places like the Virgin Islands, St. Croix Island, they're paying there something like 39 cents per kilowatt as a quoted rate. But then they have add-on fees and whatnot that bring the price up to sometimes 47, 49, 52 cents per kilowatt. So we're seeing big changes, and even as I look at property that I have, there's enough area on my roof to put enough solar panels to run my house so that I could have a net zero energy house. That is going to come because it's logical. But we see also that as the price of petroleum increases, also we see that food prices go up perhaps 10, 20, 30% every time oil prices or energy prices go up 5 or 10 or 15%. So therefore the price of food is going up rapidly. And the third item is, of course, water. Water is depleting, it's overused, it's at a level where we have to have more efficient sources of water, more efficient ways of treating the water, and more efficient ways of finding new water. Only 2% of the water in the Great Plains, Texas, New Mexico, right on up through the Great Plains, is water that you can drink. The rest of it's all mineralized. And so we think desalination may be a great answer for us, at least in terms of supply. There are new water treatment systems that look like that it could be incredibly important. So we got new things in water, new things in food such as algae production and greenhouses and drip irrigation, and then in terms of energy, new things such as solar, wind, solar water heating that could revolutionize things. Now what we're doing is looking at all of these trends, the social, cultural trends, and we think that eventually we're going to see all these merge together. And we're going to see people saying things like Cornucopia Enterprise.com is doing. They're saying, let's integrate all of these things into one food, water, energy campus so that a city can have a redundant supply of food, water, and energy, which Homeland Security loves this, Office of Emergency Planning loves this, and it also, we do a lot of writing, we do a lot of interviewing of people, and we do a lot of valuations of property as well as energy audits. But in all of the things we do, we see these changes coming, and I predict to you that within 10 years you'll see the price of oil at $150, $180, $200 per barrel. You'll see electricity at prices like they're seeing in St. Croix, 30, 40, 50 cents per kilowatt, and you're going to see food prices incredibly high too. So people are going to go back. Well, how can we produce our own? How can we actually make all of this arid land that we've let go fallow for so many years productive? We can do it through greenhouses. How can we take our water and find new supplies? Well, we can do that through desalination. How can we fix our energy problems? Well, through wind, solar, and solar water heating. It's a fascinating time. All I'm saying to you is this. This is a great time for you to live, think, and consider the alternatives and the positive opportunities, even as our culture. You have these liberal people, these conservative people up against each other. At some point, I believe they'll come together and say, hey, we're in a brotherhood of man. We are all humans. Let's work these problems out together in the most logical ways. My name is Ben Boothe, and I look forward to working with you in the future. You can find me at www.benboothe.com. You look at people that you think a lot of, like Ralph Hall in Washington. You think of wonderful things that go through life, like this is the oil from the first oil well of our family. You look at little things, you look at just little things that cause you to remember what we're all about. This was a prayer that was given to me by Robert Schuller when he was active in his television ministry. You look at these wonderful pottery that come from beautiful places like Acoma. Talk about learning how to conserve water. They knew how to do it. And this was my grandfather's spurs. Look at these. That's his time. Recognize that symbol? I bet you do. That's my hat from my grandfather. This was my beautiful mother. Isn't she lovely? Hats from Mongolia. Buddhist objects from Tibet. Here's a singing bowl. Mongolia. Art from there. This is once at the location of the capital of the Genghis Khan. That's at the doorway. Well, everything balances out. And sometimes you find groups that are voices of reason.